Hello and welcome to this little video on the translation of depuis. In French, of course, depuis is used with the present tense. You say, for example, je vous connais depuis 2 mois, or je vous connais depuis septembre, par exemple. Now, in English, because we have the present perfect tense and the present perfect continuous tense, which indicate a relationship with the present, we don't need to use the present tense. We can use those to indicate something which began in the past and is continuing or has continued until the present. So let's take, for example, the one I just gave you. Je vous connais depuis 2 mois. Je vous connais depuis septembre. Now, when we translate that into English, present perfect, so I have known you. And then in English, we have to think, do we use since or do we use for? I have known you for 2 months, or I have known you since September. Now, one way of remembering this, if it helps, is the for. If you think of the O in the word for as, well, that might remind you of the word période or a durée de temps, période de temps. And the I in the word since, try to remember that it is à partir de. So think of the I in since and the I in the word I, à partir de. So if you think of a timeline, and this is now, I often use these timelines when we are illustrating the use of the present perfect or the present perfect continuous. Let us say, well, if we assume we are now in November, as indeed we are, or I am, now, and I'm going to just put that in brackets to make it clearer, now, November. So I met in September, I met you. I met you in September, which means that for the whole of this period of time, I have known you. That's the period of time. I have known you. So period of time is the 2 months. Yes, that is a period of time which is 2 months. Yes. Yeah. So that's why we say for. But if you want to refer to when the period of time began, so the à partir de, then we say since. So I've known you since September, or I have known you for 2 months. So there we have the example using the present perfect. That happens to be with a verb, the verb to know, which doesn't really, or we don't really use with the continuous form. Very often, when we translate depuis, we use a continuous form, or we can use a continuous form. Some verbs you can, in fact, use either. You could say, for example, if you want to say, je travaille chez moi depuis 2 ans, or je travaille chez moi depuis, bear in mind we're now 2021, so I could say depuis 2019. Okay. Now here I can say I have worked at home for 2 years, or I have worked at home since 2019. can also say, by the way, I have been working at home for 2 years, or I have been working at home since 2019. So in one, there is more emphasis perhaps on the activity, if you like, but really in this example, as with many cases in English, you can use both. You can use either the present perfect or the present perfect continuous. Sometimes there is an element of, what shall I say, of a temporary nature. In the example which I'm going to give you now, if you want to say, j'habite en France depuis. J'habite en France depuis 2017, for example. Actually, 2018, so let me get that correct. So, 2018, 2000, okay, that will do. In which case, I want to turn that to 3. J'habite en France depuis 2018 or depuis 3 ans. There I can say either I have lived for 3 years, or I have lived in 2018. But equally, I can say I have been living in France for 3 years, or I have been living in France. Living in France 2018. Now, again, you can say both. There is a little bit more of the idea of a temporary nature. So it's a little bit more temporary, but it's not a big difference. Temporary. So perhaps it means I am going to go back and live in England soon. But really, you can use both, and that's the case very often, in fact, in English. There is a difference between the two tenses, and if you haven't already watched it, I might recommend that you watch my little video on the distinction between the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. But as I say, very often you can use both. Okay, so I hope that has helped illustrate the use of since and for when it is a translation, when they are the translation of depuis. See you again soon in one of my other videos. Bye-bye.